What's going on, everyone? This is Carlos, aka Crash with Checkmate Fusion, and I'm here to bring you the deck that I took all the way to second place at the LA Regionals. Excuse the camera angle, I'm doing this on my own with a tripod. So I decided to take Dr. Arinsu to the event. The reasons why I like this deck was because it's an aggro deck that can also pivot to kind of like a control tempo deck. So she draws a card when she attacks. Pretty simple. She has an activate main where you can discard a card from your hand. You can take up to 1 life and look at the top 3 cards of your deck for any Demon Realm card. So usually you want to find your SR. She's probably like the MVP of the deck. And then you can awaken when you're at 5 life or less, and you untap 2 energy. On the awakened side, she does lose her draw when she attacks, and then she has this once per turn during another player's turn. When you play a Demon Realm card, you can untap 1 of your energy. So this can help to extend your aggressive plays, but also extend your defensive plays. And then she has an activate main or battle. Once per turn as well, so during your opponent's turn as well. You can discard 1 card, and then you can return a 3 cost from your side of the board to your hand to play a 6 cost Majin Do or Ku from the drop. And the Do and the Ku is pretty much essentially your draws for the turn. So it's important to try to do those once during your turn and during your opponent's turn, so you don't fall behind on card advantage. Okay, so we'll jump right to the deck. So for my 1-drops, I played 4 Z-Gomah, your negate cantrip. Really good if your opponent tries to set up Z energy. You can easily just negate the attack, and then she'll look at top 5. So you can shuffle your deck after you do your top 3, because the leader puts them at the bottom of the deck. So the Z-Gomah helps to shuffle if you sent back like an SCR or like an important tech piece or something. And then I did 2 Dendes. This is something that I took off of Brian Samuel's list, and it did came up about 2 times throughout the tournament. It helps to like stun specifically Z battle cards, but also problematic like boss monsters that your opponent has. Yes, they can combo off the card that you put it under, but that means it's essentially like a removal piece, you know. And if it does survive, it comes back to your at the end of your opponent's turn, so you'll get a draw, and then you'll draw for turn. So it's like an additional draw. So it's pretty good. Probably only used it like two times though. And then for your MVP, you have the SR Arinsu. So she helps you to self-awaken and draws a card, and then she will restand a 3 cost or less battle card on your side during another player's turn, and then it gains 5k for the battle. So she is what pretty much like runs the entire deck. You can have double blockers, you can have dual attackers, so she's pretty important. And then you have 4 Z-Gomahs. This is also another key card. This helps to bring back your 3-drops from the drop area, so that you can bounce off for your leader skill. And sometimes when some things that you can do is, if they get rid of your Dr. Arinsu, you can pay the 1, play this. She does come with their non-keyword skills negated because of this card, but then you can just play a 6-drop to bounce this to your hand, and now you have another one for the following turn. So this is like some cool like combos that you can do. I played for the Gesus. This is really cool because with the SR, he becomes a dual blocker. It helps you get Z energy because he has an activate battle where you can come with the card and then he plays himself. So this can help you get combo power and Z energy without using cards from your hand. And then if you play him off of Z-Gomah, because Z-Gomah once again it negates the non-keyword skills, you can bounce this back to your hand if you can get another. So you can like you can do some tricks where you can like block an attack, and then you can bounce it mid battle, so then the attack with Fizzle, and then you have another one so that you can discard or combo off to do it again the following turn. And then for the other 3 drops, I played 3 Doos and then 2 Marvas. The Do, when I first started testing the deck, I was playing 4 Doos and 4 of the Coos that they both have revenge. But I was seeing them way too much, and every time that you redirect an attack to the Do, it's kind of like you're losing an attacker or battle card on board. So this is something that I also took from Brian Samuel's list. And so what you usually do with the Do is, if, for example, your opponent attacks and they dump up to like 30k, you can play this off of the Z-Gomah, and then so you can play the Z-Gomah and then play the Do, and then bounce back the Z-Gomah to play the Do that can redirect attacks, and then you can kill off the big battle card during mid battle. But then if you're going up against, say, just like a 20k attacker, you can play the Gomah to play the Marva, and then redirect the attack to the Marva. And now for the following turn, your turn, now you have a 30k swing. So it kind of gives you like a extra beater that your opponent has to deal with. But yeah, I found this number to be satisfying. I really liked it. And then for your pretty much your draw engine, 6 Doos and 6 Coos. You want to play these once per turn and then once during your opponent's turn, so you don't fall behind on card advantage. The Do comes in handy to bounce back cards that your opponent has, so you can bounce back like the blocker from the token negate, Z battle cards, SERs. So I like this card. And then the Coup is probably the better one of the both, because you can redirect attacks. And one thing that you can also do is, say you only have access to 1 Do on board, you can redirect an attack to himself. He goes to the drop, and then you can play it again during like the next battle to redirect another attack, because the redirect is only once per turn. It's not limit 1, so you can like get 2 blocks off of the same card. And then I have 2 number 1s. This is it didn't come up that often. It was there for the TN matchup, but I didn't play a single TN. So it's an activate main where you can like discard a card, put a 3-drop from your board into the drop area, and then play him from the drop. And then when he's played, he returns all battle cards to your opponent's hand. So against, in theory, against TN, you want to bounce their tokens and all the battle cards that they have, so they can't use their activate battles during your turn when you're attacking. But it didn't come up. I think I used it maybe once during the tournament, but that was about it. 2 of the Concept Rares. It's good in this deck because you can pay the 1 energy and then the leader will untap 1, so you're not tapping out for it. And then sometimes you do have excess energy when you have a lot of untap energy, so you can do the tap 2 to draw 1. It's also like a good finisher too. So a 1 energy 25k double striker that can end games is really good. 4 of the Glorious Super Combos, simply because it's searchable and you want the draw. That was pretty much it. And then I played 2 Oobs. I think I only played it once during the tournament. Most people are kind of like playing around Oob. They try not to Z-charge 2 cards. So it only came up once. But in theory, it's there to like help you catch up if your opponent has a big board and they miscounted their Z energy. And then this SSB Vegeta. This is also thanks to Brian Samuel. This is something that him and I had talked about. Against yellow, when they stun your Z-Gomah Z battle card, you can attack, and if they dare to negate, you can get rid of your Z-Gomah, so that you negate the attack, and now they have to get rid of they have to defend this, and then you have access now to play your another Z-Gomah. So usually it's also good against green, so you can try to negate the dormant potential. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then the spicy tech one Kefla. So in this deck, you get a pretty wide board pretty fast, and most of the time you're getting floodgated. So when you don't have much else to do, you can pay 3 energy, you'll draw 2 cards, and then your opponent's turn, you'll untap 2. So this was kind of like a tempo play when you get floodgated and you don't have anything else to do. Sadly, I think I only saw it once during the tournament because the deck doesn't draw a lot. So like I didn't get to test the full power of it. Only once. I only played it once, but when I did play it, it was really good. And then for your defensive portion, my defense portion of the deck, 2 117s, 2 Senzu Beans, 3D Magics. I like this. Only 3D Magics because you want to get to the battle phase to do all your, your activate battle shenanigans. And then Senzu Bean was for aggro decks, the mirror match. And then 17, you don't get a lot of Z energy in this deck, but you always have, most of the time you're always gonna have the Z-Gomah, so this is almost always live, so it's pretty good. And then for my SCR of choice, I played Hatch. You can go either way between Hatch and Beast Gohan. I like the Hatch just as another security for this deck because you don't draw a lot. So when your opponent is trying to push for game, and you could just play it, slam it down, and then they have to pass their turn. Okay, that was for the main deck. For the Z deck, I played 4 Z-Gomahs. This is like the most important card of your Z deck, probably the one that you go to the most. So when it attacks, your opponent has to bottom deck a card that does have unique, and his energy cost does get reduced by 2 if you have 2 Demon Realms on board. And then with the SR Dr. Arinsu, she can restand this. So now he's essentially a dual attack that your opponent has to bottom deck 2 cards. This card is like the MVP. Like you need to run 4. And then I played 1 baby. This is to activate, just in case if your opponent has a lot of removal, most of the time they're gonna get rid of this, like the first thing that they do. So this is just as another backup, so you can have your defending friends live. 1 cell just to clear small boards. I think this is like pretty much standard in all the blue decks now. 2 underwritings. You do sometimes go into 2. Your opponent is gonna try to get rid of this as fast as possible because if it sticks more than 1 turn, you're just getting so much value. And also the +0 goes in theme with the deck because you want to like hit their hand, and the untap 1, so it makes it that you get to untap 1 energy, so it makes it so that you can be more aggressive, knowing that you can tap out safely because she will untap you 1. And she can be aggressive too because she has double strike, and then it's the blocker. Also Deborah, same reason, again specifically for yellow. It helps that you can get rid of the Great Saiyaman if it has barrier, but also because they can go under Nimbus and can go under Riposte, so it's really good. And then lastly, the Black Amaha, pretty standard. Side deck, 2 Kotakais for the mirror match. I think like almost every single side deck has Kotakai, so pretty standard. 3 Black Mass Saiyan. This is specifically for TN. I did kind of fear the matchup a little bit, so this helps to make that matchup not so bad. And it also comes up against other decks. It can hurt the mirror match, but you can play around it. And then 1 Jiren to respect Turning the Tide. 2 Sumasus. This is obviously for red, but also like if you're playing against kind of like aggressive decks, you can also like just slide this in because it's a like 1 energy 25k attacker, so it's not a bad attacker. The second Vegeta to play when you're playing against green, sometimes against yellow, it does come up. 1 Hunt for green, mostly for green, but sometimes you can also side this for the Gogeta Aegis matchup. The third Senzu Bean will come in against aggro decks, against the mirror match, against TN. 2 Decisive Strikes for decks that have a lot of floodgates. I was deciding to play either this, Begrudging Allies, or Desperate Measures. You can't go wrong with either. I did like this because you can play it for free, but it does depend on you having a Z battle card. So I guess like the baby, the 1-drop baby being barrier, if it sticks, you can also like just make this live. So I guess that's another reason why this was pretty good. I almost sided it in, but I never used it. And then lastly, 2 Final Hope Slash. This is mostly for Pan Zeno. When they attack with this is for Gohan, you can just get rid of it. So it's pretty good. So yeah, that's the deck. I can go over my matchups really quickly if I can remember correctly. So round 1 was Green Cooler. The thing about this deck is that if you put out a Unison, you can just attack with the King Gomah into the Unison, and like they're losing cards because they can't defend it obviously unless they use negates. And if they use the negates, now they're losing the negate. If it's a floodgate, they're using like 1 or 2 cards plus discards effect. So you don't mind swinging into the Unisons. Round 2, I believe, was Yellow Broly. That one could have gone either way. I think if he would have seen his Vegeta SCR, it could have been in trouble. But for the most part, I pretty much had control the entire game. This card just makes the matchup pretty easy. Round 3, I played against one of my friends, Simon. He was playing the black Meki Kabura Kai deck. Pretty aggressive deck. He won a die roll and he still decided to go second so that he can use the energy marker to like be more aggressive with his deck. The thing about this deck is that it can also just be very defensive too, and having the extra energy when you on tap with the leader effect just makes it so that you can like negate with the Bulma, you know, top 5, maybe get a super combo, and then the energy gets restanded, and then you can use like Sensu Bean to restand 2 more energy, and then like you can just get pretty wild from there. Round 4 was Great Saiyaman. That one, honestly, I think I should have lost that one. I made a mistake of attacking with my leader, and he like released from Evil It, so that like pushed back my pretty aggressive turn. The only reason why I won was in time, and that was the only game I went into time with. And unfortunately, I had more battle cards than he did, because this deck can just spend a lot of battle cards. So yeah. And then round 5, I played against my teammate Daniel Dolby. He was on Bojack. That one I kind of drew bad. I had like 3 black cards in my starting hand, so it made my charging really weird. So I had to charge like the 2 concept rares, and which I would have used during the turn that he was pushing for a game to like redirect his final attack. Maybe I could have gotten away with it, but who knows. And then the last round I played against Gamma. That one was kind of weird. My opponent kind of made a remark about saying that this is like a free matchup for him. So I kind of made it, I like focused, I locked in so that I can, you know, come out on top of that matchup. And he made it, I think he made a mistake where he tapped out during his turn 2 to like not really do much. So when it came back to my turn, I was on 3 energy, and I just went for game, and I did go for game, and then I actually like ended up winning the game with, I went for game with Baby. I had access to 1 more energy, and he was at 1 life, so I just played this and then attack, and I comboed up to like 60k, and like he couldn't come out of it. So I won that game. But I really like the deck. I think it's very versatile. I'm pretty sure that there's still room for improvement in the deck. I just have to go back to the drawing board and like try to see more tech cards, maybe change the side up a bit. But yeah, I really like the deck. And then just shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my team, Checkmate Fusion. We're always talking Dragon Ball. We're always talking about decks, cards, spicy techs. Shout out to the homie Ari, because he was the one who brought up the idea of Kefla. He brought it up as a joke, but then we were like, hold up, there might actually be something here. And then I was talking about it with Brian Samuel, because he also played the deck, and we were talking about what cards we can add, and he also brought up this idea. So I was just like, let's just run with it, see how it goes. So also shout out to Brian Samuel for talking to me about the deck. Pretty cool homie. And yeah, thanks everyone. See you.